Welcome everybody. What an event. This is my first time here. I'm just amazed at the audience and the kind of details that are being covered. How many of you heard of Siemens before? Okay, quite a few. All right, well, I'm part of the digital engineering software business inside Siemens. We look after providing software technology to pretty much creators and makers of things. It could be something as simple as an iPhone to something as complex as a Boeing airplane engine. Siemens is a very well-respected company in this regard in terms of the software we provide. But one of the things that gets missed out many a times is our technology, and especially the work we are now doing with Amazon, is very, very appropriate for even small and medium-sized companies. And many times the technology that we enable the larger enterprises is something that is now available at very easily disposal in their hands through our cooperation with Amazon. So that's what I'm going to cover today is how we are democratizing the whole concept of a digital twin and making it easy for a small and medium-sized business to take advantage of some great capabilities right away in a very easy manner.
Being small makes you more flexible, more agile, more specialized, and more caring in every single detail. And now you can compete on even ground with competition of any size. High-end digital solutions are within your reach. Siemens, we're here to take care of you and your business. Siemens, where today meets tomorrow.
Now, when we are thinking about a small and medium-sized business, they are obviously challenged much more compared to a smaller enterprise, trying to get things done faster. They're trying to compete with other companies, trying to be very concerned about the margins, the profitability they have, being able to get the talent that they need, right? Being able to hire the right people, and then being able to connect with all the necessary people in an easy manner. These are some of the very significant business challenges that a small company is dealing with, beyond and over and beyond what typically goes on. And in addition, all the things that are going on today around the whole concept of digitalization, they are all recognizing the need for connectivity. They are all recognizing the need for new technology. And they are all quickly trying to adapt the whole concept of digitalization and connectivity. In fact, in some certain surveys that were done, pretty much 72% of small, medium-sized companies have identified that they need to rapidly go down this path. They're all already engaged in that process. They're all already trying to figure out how to get onto this whole notion of cloud. The other interesting thing is as they are working through their systems, one of the other interesting facts they've found and uncovered is they want to simplify the number of vendors that they're dealing with, not having to buy and work through many, many vendors. They would rather just have one company, one person, and get that provider take care of everything, right? And then the lastly, but not the least, is also reduce the amount of interaction they need to have with people to get to the technology they need. Try and get everything they want through a marketplace. Get all the information they need through a marketplace. Try and buy that whatever they're looking to get, whatever technology they're looking to get it directly to the marketplace. Just something that makes it very easy for them. So these are some of the things that they're looking for. And in addition, what has also been identified for these companies to be successful in their attempts to drive the efforts around digitalization and trying to become more effective in their efforts in taking advantage of these new technologies. There are some five important imperatives that were identified in a very recent study conducted by Harvard. And the first one is around the whole notion of a platform, making sure that the platform can support all of their needs, can support all of their requirements, all the way from connecting into the cloud to making it easy for them to scale up, making it easy to get all the technology that they would want, making it sure that it can work across all the different disciplines, across the different business needs. The second one is obviously being budget constrained, making sure that they have the elasticity in terms of the budget that they would want to use for their business. The third one is an important one as well, being able to support the processes, right? So it's not just about getting the technology, but it's also making sure that it can support their process needs, making sure that it can help them from start to the end, from the time they think of a product idea to the time they get all the detailed requirements of the product idea, to the time they actually design it, build it, test it, to the time they actually manufacture it and get it out in front of a customer, to the time they get it serviced with the customer. So trying to understand the process details becomes a very important piece of that requirement as well. Making sure that they can work with an organization that can train their staff, right? One of the constraints, the challenges they have is being able to hire right people. Remember, these are small companies that are trying to build new products, build new concepts, build up some ideas. So how do you get the people trained in these new technologies? How do you make sure that they can be effectively empowered to leverage all these capabilities? And then finally, but not the least, again, is around risk management. End of the day, it's still an important business to them. They are still very concerned about the challenges of risks, being able to ensure the security of their information, being able to make sure that it can meet all of their feelings and the regulatory requirements that they may have. So to help drive all of these requirements, Siemens has undertaken this effort to bring the virtual and the real worlds together through this whole concept of a digital twin. And in addition, enabling these digital twins with the digital thread. These digital threads are process-based solutions that enable a company to kind of drive the entire process all the way from the front end designing to the manufacturing process to the service process. And these process-based solutions leverage, obviously at the core of it, Amazon technology, making it cloud-enabled, but on top of that, providing the solutions that Siemens has to offer in a very easy, elastic manner so that they can take advantage of these process-enabled solutions and get in and out of it as and when necessary. So these digital threads really make it very easy for these companies, for small, medium-sized companies, to take advantage of some really powerful technologies that multi-billion-dollar companies have been using for many years and puts it in their hands to take advantage of right away. And as part of that, that's where the Siemens Xcelerator portfolio comes in. The Siemens Xcelerator portfolio, which is the portfolio of all of these technologies, and helping startups and companies of all sizes enable the digital twin at a much faster rate. Now, to give you an example of what Siemens has been doing in this regard, I'm going to walk you through 3 customer case studies so you'll get a better idea as to what companies have been able to do. The first one is a company called Innovate. It's a company out of Belgium in Europe, and they are in the business of delivering charging stations for EVs, for electric vehicles. This is a company that started a few years ago, and they have already installed close to 80,000 charging stations in some parts of Europe, in Belgium, in Netherlands, in France, and now they're expanding to Germany. So think about it, right? A company with 0 customers, leading the edge in terms of new technologies with charging stations. And the other big challenge they have is requirements. Every country, every region they go into, their requirements are very different. So trying to understand those requirements, trying to configure their product for those country requirements, and connecting it also to the cloud, where they are able to monitor what's happening from an energy consumption perspective by the vehicles who charged from their stations, giving them information that, hey, maybe you're ready for a charge again. So these are some great concepts that are emerging, that are being developed by Innovates, and is really at the leading edge of how new businesses are taking advantage of the technology that Siemens is providing. So this entire capability and infrastructure of designing and providing these charging stations was all built using Siemens mechanical, electrical simulation technology. The second company is a company called Stella out of Netherlands. And this is a company that again started a few years ago in a garage, literally by 3 people around 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And now they have an employee base of around 700 people. 400,000 bikes now have been sold in the last couple of years by them. Very fast emerging company. One of the technologies they are taking advantage of is a solution called Mendix, which is a low-code based solution that Siemens provides, and makes it very easy for a company that needs to integrate different types of technology and make it easily accessible to their end customers. So using a Mendix-based application that Stella built, they are now able to provide to their end customers, the people who have bought their bikes, the 700,000 customers who have bought their bikes, very accurate and easy information about what's happening with their bike, how much of charge do they need, what is the current usage, and any other dashboard information that they would need. So all of that is available through their phones, through the dashboard on the bike itself, and obviously on the back end as well for Stella customer representatives. So again, a very easy way for Stella to take advantage of what capabilities are there, taking advantage of what AWS has to provide, obviously. And then the last one I want to give you an example is a company called Regent. Regent is a company based out of Boston. They are actually in a very unique business proposition of building seaplane gliders, electronic seaplane gliders, which will make it easy for a company or a consumer, I should say, that is living on a coastal region to go from one region to the other. They have already, this is a startup, they have not launched their first product as yet. They have already secured orders for more than 400 seaplanes so far, and an evaluation of around $10 billion. They have not launched a single product as yet. And their whole value proposition is to build e-seaplane bikes, if you will, right? E-seaplanes, which makes it obviously very friendly in terms of the environment, but also very efficient in terms of the fuel consumption and other things. So again, these are examples of technology that are being leveraged by small and medium-sized companies. Makes it very easy for them to adopt what we have to offer. Technology that's been proven by large enterprise companies like Boeing, now making it easy for a small company that's starting off in Boston in a small shop with 10 people. These are ex-marine engineers from MIT and Boeing that are now taking advantage of this technology and using it to drive new innovation. The same technology now is also available on Amazon's Marketplace. As I'd mentioned to you, one of the things customers want is make it very easy for them to acquire this technology. So all of these technologies and the examples I mentioned to you, they are all now available in Amazon's Marketplace, and makes it very easy for them to go acquire this and go through that whole process. And then obviously as part of this whole capability, it's all powered by AWS. And we are a proud partner to be a partner of AWS, and it's been a very fantastic and a beneficial relationship for both of us. Some of the core competencies and the technology that we bring with our years of experiencing in the design engineering space, with the IT technology that Amazon brings to our customers, bringing all of that together has been a fantastic marriage. And this is something that we have leveraged to make it easily, make our core capabilities accessible to small, medium-sized companies. And finally, I would say, if you'd like to talk more, many of us are right here in a booth spot, not too far from, literally a few minutes, and more than happy to discuss any questions you may have. But since we have 5 more minutes, I'll be happy to take any questions that you may have for me right now.